Hey guys, Super Rugby Pacific round 15 is coming up this weekend. In this video, I'm taking a look at the team sheets to see which players are in, which players are out, as well as sharing my thoughts about how these matches might play out and what the final margins might be. Coming up first, we have the Crusaders versus the Highlanders in Christchurch on Friday night. Conditions look like they'll be very good for this game, and they look good for every game this weekend as a matter of fact. Looking at the lineups for the Crusaders, they've got a couple of big names back in this week. Cody Taylor is there, Scott Barrett is there as well. There is still no Will Jordan, but in last weekend's victory over the Waratahs in Sydney, Johnny McNichol looked pretty handy, as did Ravez Reihana, who is filling in for Taha Kemera, who is still out. Macca Springer joins the lineup as well. Shea Fihaki is not there or on the bench. I believe he's being rested for this game. I do not believe he is injured. Having a look at the Highlanders lineup, probably the biggest thing of note here is that Jonah Nareki is out. Taniela Filimone comes in to fill in for him. Don't think we've seen this guy play at all this year. Still no sign of Caleb Tangitau, still no sign of Hugh Renton, a guy that they're really missing, I think. And as for how this game's going to go, look, the Highlanders season is virtually over. I think there's a small mathematical chance they take it if they get bonus point victories for their last two games and some other results go their way. But yeah, it's looking very, very unlikely. So not a lot to play for the Highlanders except for pride. And there is a lot of pride on the line in this game. It is the Southern Derby. They always give it their all against the Crusaders. But yeah, it might not have the same sting in it with the season being over for the Highlanders. The Crusaders, on the other hand, they have a lot more to play for. They are still in contention for taking out that #1 spot on the ladder, which I think is going to be really important this season because there's not much between all these teams, right? Like, no one is truly dominating this season, so you really want to have that home advantage all the way through the playoffs into the finals. Whoever finishes top of the log probably will be the favorite to win the whole thing. So yeah, everything to play for there for the Crusaders. They kind of stumbled a bit against the Waratahs. They won comfortably last week in the end. They did kind of threaten to throw away a big lead, but that was without those big names. And yeah, I mean, they should still be able to handle the Highlanders at home, to be honest. I think the Highlanders, they'll show up early on. They'll put up a fight just for that, it's that Southern Derby. They won't want to roll over, but at some point, the Crusaders, they'll get some points on the ball, and the Highlanders will probably crumble, in my opinion. Might not happen until the second half, but yeah, I feel like the Crusaders will probably come away with the bonus point win in this one because, yeah, that bonus point is going to be so valuable for them to get in that home final. So yeah, I'm going to say Crusaders by 18 points. Then straight after that, on the Friday night, we have the Reds versus the Hurricanes at Suncorp in Brisbane. Big news for the Reds here is probably that Harry Wilson is back. He's been out for a while with an injury. He was one of the better #8s in the competition, so that is a huge boon for their forward pack for him to be back. Sarah Uru is out though, unfortunately. It looks like Joe Breel is going to fill into that spot to replace him. Sarah Uru, he has been a solid performer all through this year, so that's a bit of a blow. Looking at the squad though, they're still missing some of their really big names, the Reds. There's still no Salakai Lotto, no Matty Fezler. Josh Fluke's been out for a long time. No Alex Hodgman in the front row, so still quite far from full strength, the Reds, especially in the forwards. And looking at the Hurricanes, the interesting thing here is that Ruben Love is sticking in the 10 jersey, which is interesting because Brett Cameron is back. He came back last week, came off the bench. He's still available this week. He's on the bench. But yeah, the staff really liking the idea of Love at 10. Balin Sullivan, he's also kind of interesting to see him on the bench after he took that big knee to the head while scoring last week, really cut him open. But he must have passed all the concussion protocols, even though he didn't come back at all that game. So wasn't expecting that, but that is nice to see. Daniel Sinkinson's actually starting at 14. I don't believe we've seen Sinkinson play for the Hurricanes at all this year. He's a pretty fast winger. I've seen him in the NPC, so definitely no slouch. Also looks like Higgins is missing as well. So Billy Proctor's going to partner with Peter Umaga Jensen in the midfield. No sign of Nani Punavai, who was hurt pretty bad. Obviously, Kanina Hollow's still out for the season. So, yeah, quite a bit of shuffling here in the back line for the Canes. In the forwards, the big news is that Braden Yose is injured and is out for the season. That's quite a shame. I really enjoy watching him play, especially ball in hand. So, yeah, that means Brad Shields will probably stay a fixture there with Karifi and Larkai. Devin Flanders is on the bench, so pretty handy replacement to have as well. Pretty good time for him to be back from injury. Also no Caleb Delaney, but yeah, Zach Gallagher and Walker Leaweri, two pretty good locks to have in his stead. So as for how this game's going to play out, this is a super interesting one. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to go because, yeah, the Reds, they lost to the Brumbies last week. I mean, they're pretty clearly the second best team in Australia. And with the Hurricanes, I thought they were coming pretty good after that Brumbies game. But then last year, they really got a big scare from the Highlanders in Wellington. I was not expecting that in any way, shape or form. So yeah, just the same thing that's sort of been a problem for them all year. The Hurricanes, they create a lot of opportunities. They just don't finish even half of them, and yeah, it's just so costly for them. And these two teams are kind of similar. Like you see good performances out of sometimes, and you think, wow, that's amazing. Like when the Reds took down the Blues, but you see another performance that makes you think, wow, what happened? They're just two sort of quite inconsistent teams. It's hard to really put a lot of faith in them. So yeah, when you get two kind of inconsistent teams, it's hard to know how it plays out. I do think the Hurricanes are a lot more lethal than the Reds. The Reds, though, they are decent defensively, so it's not going to be a steamroll. But yeah, I think the ball is in the Hurricanes' court more than it is for the Reds, even though the Reds are playing at home. But definitely an unpredictable game, so I reckon it's going to be close. I mean, both teams have a lot to play for here. The Canes, they want to stay in the top 6, and the Reds, like, they have a pretty tough run, so they're kind of in danger of dropping out of the 6 as well. They're in 4th spot, but there's not much space on the ladder between 4th and 6th, and there is quite a bit of space between 4th and 3rd. So yeah, they're still in the danger zone. So yeah, both teams are going to be going at it. Both kind of got dodgy lineouts, but decent scrums. So I'm going to go with the Canes just because they are a bit more dangerous, but it's going to be close. I'm going to say by 5 points. Then on the Saturday night, we have the Chiefs versus Moana Pacifica in Hamilton. Home game for the Chiefs, and Chiefs coming off a bye, but this team is pretty much unchanged from the one that came from behind against the Crusaders a couple of weeks ago. Taukei'aho gets the start, McAllister moves to the bench, but that is it. And that's kind of interesting because the Chiefs have really rotated their players a lot all throughout the season, especially in the forwards. So yeah, it's been rare to see them stick with the exact same lineup, but that is what they have done here. And for the Moana, it's a pretty similar team to the one that took down the Blues. Willie Havili picked up a knee injury, so he is out, and it looks like Tavita Offa has moved into the 15 jersey. And that's an interesting choice for me. I haven't seen him play at 15, not even in the NPC. So yeah, I'd be really interested to know if he has any 15 experience at all. Let me know in the comments if you do. But feels a bit kind of risky for me to put someone green in the 15 jersey in such a big game. Like you know, you do need to have that extra awareness in that kicking game in that jersey. Jackson Garden Bishop, interestingly, is in the 23 slot on the bench, so quite possibly we could see him come on and take over that 15 role if he needs to. Solomon Alaimalo is returned from injury. He goes back onto the wing, but otherwise, yeah, everything looks the same for Moana. And this Moana team, I mean, they are resurgent, man. Like that win against the Blues last week, that was a huge performance. That was not a result I expected, but no, it was a close game, but it honestly felt like Moana was dominating. I mean, they took a couple of cards, but still just kept going. They didn't slow down. They were turning the Blues over at ruck, and of course that performance from Ari Sevilla, he just went absolute beast mode. So the big question is, like, are Moana, are they the real deal now after that win? Are they going to be able to do the same thing to the Chiefs in Hamilton? And they got a tough run home. They also have to face the Canes in Wellington in the last round as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, beating the Blues and the Landers with convincing performances is one thing. Artie going absolute beast mode against both those teams, that is one thing. But going to Hamilton and doing it to the Chiefs, like, yeah, I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in miracles. I do believe in Miracle Whailangi. He is real, but I still feel like this is a bridge too far, and I kind of hate saying that, man, because Moana, they've been defying the odds. So yeah, it could definitely blow up in my face, but that is how I see it, right? Like, and the Chiefs, they're not going to be caught napping as well. Like, you know, they would have watched that game and look at their lineup. Like, it's the same lineup that beat the Crusaders. It's pretty close to full strength. Like, they're not resting anybody. So, and look, they're going for that top spot as well. Moana, they need a win to stay in the 6. Chiefs, they want to win so they can be playing through the playoffs at home. Both teams, everything to play for. Chiefs at home, I gotta give it to them. They are better in pretty much all respects, I gotta say. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Chiefs. I'm actually gonna give it to them by 10 points as well. Like, I think Moana, they'll fight hard, but they're not going to be as good. And the Chiefs, they're not going to be napping like they were in that Waratahs game. So yeah, Chiefs by 10. And finally, we have the Western Force versus the Waratahs in Perth, straight after that Chiefs Moana game. Big news for the Force is that Carlo Tizzano is back. He did not play in that pretty sad loss against the Drua. Nick White will also be starting. Curtly Beale goes to the bench. Mac Greeley gets to start at 15. For the Tahs, well, Rob Leota is out, and still no sign of Joseph Suoli'i, unfortunately. Still no Max Jorgensen either. Looks like Crichton's actually going to start in the 15 jersey, and Callaway goes to 14. So this game, like, this is the Force's last game of the year, by the way. They do have a bye next week, so that's it. They can't possibly make the top 6. Unfortunately, that loss to the Drua really did them in. Yeah, they're just going to be playing for pride. It's kind of the same for the Waratahs, but actually they do have a chance to make the 6. They have the Blues next week at Eden Park, so that's tough. But I mean, if they can win this and win that, then they will be in. So bit of a long shot, but yeah, they do actually have something to play for if they really believe in themselves. I don't know if they do after that blasting they got from the coach after last week's loss to the Crusaders. So there's a bit of a weird dynamic here. We've got the Force playing at home. They've been very strong there this year. The Waratahs, they've been quite weak when playing away from home, but it's the Tahs who have something to play for in this match and not the Force. So you got some competing factors there that kind of counter each other a little bit. And yeah, man, this Force lineup, they probably are a bit more depleted in their squad than the Waratahs, but the few players that the Waratahs are missing, they're pretty big, right? Like Leota and obviously Suali'i as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a good game. Actually, it's gonna be a tight game, and I think the Force, you know, playing at home, their last game, they want to have a good send-off for themselves and their fans, go off in a high note. So even though their season's over, I don't think they'll be slacking. I don't think they'll have their heads down. I think it'll be a good game, and I do think that the Force will actually take it probably by 5 points in a pretty good battle. Anyway, guys, that'll do it from me. Only the 4 games this week because there are 3 teams on bye. No Blues, no Brumbies, no Andrua. But a lot of these games are still pretty good, still kind of evenly matched. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this week. Anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll catch you in the next one.